All right. So, last night around 4 a.m. my time, the Bears played the Packers for the second time this season. And here's how I feel about it. So, a week ago, we, Chi-Town, went into Cleveland, I guess, or Cleveland came to Chicago, and we put a thrashing on them, I'd say, but we didn't stomp a hole in them. It wasn't like we were elite, is the term they gave us. They called us elite, and that's why we beat Cleveland. They said we were an elite team, and I was like, the Bears aren't elite. We are difficult to contend with, but overall, we're not elite. None of our phases run on all cylinders. And yes, it takes all three phases to win a game, and we edge out victories. But outside of the Cleveland game, I can't think of a single game where we really had that big of a point differential. And Cleveland is a team with 3 wins at the time. So clearly they have their own internal issues that keep them from stopping us from scoring. So when somebody said we were elite, I had to speak on that and say, we're not an elite team. We're just better than Cleveland, but most teams are better than Cleveland right now. So as it came on at 4 a.m., I did not wake up to watch the game. I wanted to. I set an alarm. I didn't hear it, and I'm glad I didn't watch the game. So this morning at 8 a.m. when I did wake up, or 7:30, the game had just gone off, and they showed the one last highlight. Said we won 22-16. Showed the DJ Moore catch over the shoulder. And I was like, wow, that's a heck of a throw, a heck of a catch, a heck of a coverage. That guy was really on him. And then I thought, if it was the other way around, the Packers receiver would have been wide open, is what I thought. Like, it would have been a blown coverage. It wouldn't have been necessarily a great catch. I mean, it would have been a great catch too, but it wouldn't have been because of the catch. It would have been because nobody else was close enough to do anything about it. And surprisingly, the Bears are starting to catch contended passes, which is not something that we typically do. That was an elite-looking catch. I give you that. And it turns out he did a couple more. And he did one last week against the Browns, which, again, that throw against the Browns in the back of the end zone to DJ Moore was ill-advised until it was caught. Nobody liked that idea until it was caught. On 2 receivers, that means somebody else was definitely open. But either way, he's got hands, but he's just not using them. And I attribute that to the idea that we're all professionals in the NFL. These guys train and practice to catch difficult balls, anything that comes your way. But how come over the last 15 seasons, we haven't had anybody doing that besides Alshon Jeffrey, Brandon Marshall, and can't think of any other good receivers. Komet's a good receiver, but he's a tight end. And Luke, what's his name, Wilson? That tight end was a great receiver, but again, a tight end. And we are just now starting to throw to tight ends. We didn't figure that out. The Bears are way behind schedule on using tight ends. After seeing what Gronk could do and every other guy, Kelsey and the guy Kittle, why haven't we figured it out? Because we've had really good tight ends. We just don't throw to them. So then we drafted tight end in the first round this year, which was heartbreaking to me. And he's apparently a decent player and a good catcher and a good blocker. But look at how many targets he's got over the season versus his compatriot over in, where's that guy? There's another tight end, I want to say, he's somewhere in the NFC, I'd say. But he's got almost 100 targets, I would say. Like, so what's going on? Either way, I'm only here to say the Bears are not elite. We are difficult to contend with. This is not a Super Bowl team to me because we had as many points as the Browns had against us all up into the fourth quarter, until like 5 minutes or 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter when we finally scored our second score, which was another field goal. So we spent 3.5 quarters being difficult to contend with, but not elite. And surprisingly, the Packers didn't score more, but we surely didn't help ourselves out with that goose egg, okay? And so as we sit and we think about this and we talk about how good of a team the Bears are, everybody's praising us. I already know it. When I watch the news, everybody's going to be like, oh, the Bears are going to be the king of the North. Having the number 1 seed has never meant less. And as nice as it's going to be, what does it matter if we go home the first round? What if we lose in the bye week? That would be crazy. So here's my issue. The reason why, and all you Bears fans crying for respect, how can you be a respectable team with 3 points through 3 quarters? That's 1 point per quarter average. How is that a respectable thing? Doesn't matter who you're playing. Doesn't matter if it's your rival or the ex-NFL champion or the worst team in the NFL. If you can only muster 3 points in 3 quarters, you're not elite. You're not a Super Bowl team. Okay? And the only person that can turn a team like that around in the Super Bowl is the greatest of all time, Tom Brady. Okay, so what are we talking about? What are we crying about? We don't deserve respect if we can't perform as expected. I don't respect the gangster because it's a surprise. It's a surprise every time we catch some amazing pass. It's a surprise that we can ever even break away from coverages sometimes. Our defense is still the strong side of the ball. That's why we don't get respect, because when we have the ball, people already know we're going to go 3 and out, or we're going to not catch the one pass to the wide open guy. It was so good to see his catch that one pass where he was wide open and got some space, but I was only watching the highlights. The fact that we only had 3 points through the 4th quarter means that we dropped some passes for sure, you know? So I'm going to go back and watch the full game and still be pissed off because we do not execute like an elite team, but we keep getting all this praise for winning. And these Bears fans need to stop crying. Act like you've been there before. Of course, we haven't been there before, but there's no respect. There's no respect for a team that you can't trust. And every one of us knows when we were looking at that 4th quarter score, we were like, dang, it's still the same thing. We're still losing to the Packers. So what do you get respect out of that? What is it that you're doing that is so special that you think you deserve now to be able to cry about whatever it is that you want? You know? I don't know what to tell you. Here's what I will say. I'm glad we won, but I am still not convinced that we will be an elite team. I'm not sure we're Super Bowl caliber. Okay? Because we can't trust ourselves with the ball. And that's the worst way to be as a football team. How are you doing, brother? 91 full, please. Thank you. So yes, we won. We beat the Packers. That's the most important game of the year because we will not be going to the Super Bowl as much as I want to. As much as I want home field advantage throughout the playoffs, we are going to rely on other teams to get us there. And if we win this, if we win this playoff opportunity, it's a whole new season, obviously. But what are we going to bring out of the book? What are we going to bring out of the bag? Like, what do we have left? All of our injured players who are, you can't be injured against the Packers. There's a thing about that really irks me. This is the Packers, and you say, I got a foot, man. I don't think I can. I don't respect that. Lance Briggs played hurt. Urlacher played hurt. Doesn't matter. It's the Packers, dog. We're not sitting out this game. Okay, unless you have an obvious ACL or broken leg, do something. This craziness. And I think players are just, we're softer these days. I'm talking about 20 years ago now. But either way, the Bears are not elite. They are difficult to contend with. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with having a very difficult to contend with season, and then in the off season, picking up some weapons that execute and refortifying the line, making the walls stronger, Now that we've got something to build on, 11-win season, 10-win season, 12-win season, great, we can do that. But what we can't do is we can't fairy tale our way into a championship. If we're not going to execute in the first, second, and third quarter, as I told my cousin, we don't play the second and third quarter very well. That's for sure. We get some points in the first quarter, maybe. Second and third quarter, I don't think we do a lot. And then in the fourth quarter, we figure out what it is that we needed to do, and we make that happen. Fortunately, teams aren't running at us up on us like Flacco did. Flacco put in that work on us. It was a miracle that we won that game against old man Flack. And then as soon as we do it, it's like, oh, what a great thought, what a great this. No, that was simply effort. Just because somebody touches you and you're holding the ball doesn't mean you have to lay down. And I don't know why Bears receivers are so easy to tackle. So it was a wonderful surprise when Colston Loveland didn't fall down, you know. Thank you.
We need to go sit.
No thanks. Have a good one. So again, not expected. Okay? Not expected. We expected Colston Loveland to lay down when he got blasted against Cincinnati. Cincinnati. Now, you take Puka Nacua, you know what that is. If he's got the ball in open field, you know one guy's not taking him down. You expect that he's going to need two guys, minimum, to get him down. Okay? Or a clinger that's just dragging him down. Like, we know Puka Nacua is not going down for the first contact. We know, remember old Cooper Kupp? We know certain guys are expected to get some yards after contact. We don't expect it on the Bears. So the way that Swift and Monangai, Monangai was already running like that. Let's be honest. Everybody didn't give him the chance he deserved, but it should be Monangai 1, Swift 2. Monangai runs for contact and then figured out what's happened next. We need that, okay? Swift is now finally giving that second effort, doing those spin moves and trying to stay on his feet and finding success. But you look at any of his plays for the last 2 years before maybe 6 games ago, probably even 4 games ago, anything back, first guy touches him, gets him down. Doesn't look when he's hitting the hole. So if the hole isn't there, he's just running into the back of somebody. I hate that. I play running back. I hate the lack of vision and agility. You're the fastest, quickest dude on the field besides the safety who can't catch. You need to be able to analyze the closing of the hole and find a new place to go before anybody else figures it out. You need to teleport 4 yards that way and get upfield. So I'm not impressed by Swift. He's running like a running back should run, but he is not elite. He doesn't do anything special for me. I like Monangai. Either way, we did get the win. As I was telling my friends, I don't want it to be a blowout. I want it to be a competitive game. It was competitive for the last 5 minutes. What about the other 55 minutes? Whatever. But, I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't, because we got some stops. We made the mistake of injuring Jordan Love like we didn't know Malik Willis was better. Man, that worried me. Yeah, Willis is a better quarterback. Found that out. Jeez Louise, if they didn't drop that snap in overtime, it's a different story. And the thing about rivalries is, what's the beauty of it is you're always in a tight match, at least. You hope to be, right? So the last 4 times we've played the Packers, this year and last year, we've actually been in tight matches, you know. And so that's one thing we can say. We can say that it's always come down to the last play in Green Bay and in Chicago. I love that part. It's just, I don't want to split with them dudes. I don't want no respect. I want blood. I want to win both of those games. Because now, they still have a chance to go into playoffs. And if they come in as the wild card, you know they're swinging for the jugular right off the bat. The last time the Packers were the wild card and we were the number 1 in the NFC North, they kicked us out of the playoffs. That's what they did to us. So I don't want none of that smoke. I want to win every time I see them. We owe them about 10 years of booting. So not okay. Not okay with this. I could go on and on, but I think you understand. The Bears are not elite. They are difficult to contend with. And they have figured out a way to win finally instead of lose close games. Because Lord knows, over the last decade or two, all we've done is lose close games. That's why we're the underdog. That's where we belong. And that won't change unless we do something for the next 5 years to make ourselves look different. So there's no respect coming anytime soon, and I don't want it. I want you to doubt me. I want you to think I'm going to lose before I even step on the field. And then I want to honestly change your mind in the most distracting and difficult and heinous ways I can. So, congrats Bears for the W. The next 2 games will probably be harder, but at least we got some home games coming up. Yeah,